Assalamualaikum and hello. My name is Muhammad Aiman bin Khairul Saleh and my student ID is 2023700091. So today I will be discussing and presenting the salient Sharia issues in the contemporary application of Ba'i Bitama Ajil, or as known as BBA. So what is Ba'i Bitama Ajil? Ba'i Bitama Ajil is a contract that refers to the sale and purchase transaction for the financing of an asset on a deferred and an installment basis with a pre-agreed payment period. So the sale price will include a profit margin. It is also known as Ba'i bi Ta'sik, sale with installment, and Ba'i Mu'ajjal, or deferred payment sale. So what is the purpose? It is to facilitate purchases for customers who cannot pay in full immediately while ensuring the transaction complies with Islamic principle. So the application of Ba'i Bitama Ajil is that it can be used in various commodities as long as the manner of the payment is deferred. So modern application in Malaysia are used to finance various items such as houses, vehicles, machinery, and also shares and stock purchase. So the key feature of this is that it is an asset based on real goods or properties are involved and there are no money lending. So the second is that it is a deferred payment. So buyer pays over an agreed period, which is 5 or 30 years, or depending on the agreement upfront. So moreover, it is also a fixed price where the selling price include cost and also profit that is agreed upfront on the agreement. And lastly, the most important thing is that it is a Sharia compliant. There is no interest or uncertainty or any speculation involved in the contract. So there are two aspects that we can see from this, is that the sale of the asset will use the concept of murabaha, where Islamic bank will purchase the required asset from the original producer with a cash payment and then resell the asset back to their customers at a profit rate agreed by upon parties. So another way to look at this is that if the profit rate is not specified, it will only involve Ba'i Bitama Ajil and not Murabaha. So the payment of purchase will be made by their customers using BBA concept, where the settlement will be delayed and made either through installment or a lump sum in future date. So if you can see in the graph here, right? So the first one is that we would like to pick an asset that we like to buy. So such example in this case is a house. So we will then ask the bank for Ba'i Bitama Ajil and promise to buy the asset from the bank through a resale at a markup price. So the bank will then buy the asset from the cash owner on a cash basis, right? And then if you look at number 4, so bank will sell the good and passes ownership to you at a markup price. And lastly, we will pay the bank at the markup price in installments over a period of time. So what is the difference between Ba'i Bitama Ajil and a conventional loan? So in the contract type of aspect, it is a sale of asset. But for conventional loan, it is a loan of money. So interest is not allowed in Ba'i Bitama Ajil, where on conventional loan, it is charged on outstanding loan. So the Sharia compliance for Ba'i Bitama Ajil is that it is fully compliant, whereas for conventional loan, it is not compliant. So the payment terms is fixed upfront for Ba'i Bitama Ajil, while conventional loan may vary with the interest rate. Lastly, for asset involvement, it does involve an asset for Ba'i Bitama Ajil, whereas for conventional loan, it is often just cash disbursement. So what are the advantage and the criticism or the disadvantage of this is that it provides a Sharia compliant alternative to loans, and it is a fixed and transparent pricing, helps with the budgeting, and it encourages real economic activity by involving real goods. So the criticism and the disadvantage is that in practice, BBA payments may resemble interest-based loan. So early settlement sometimes doesn't reduce the total payment, and it has less flexibility in adjusting to changing financial situation. So now we will go over to the controversy and the criticism of this is that such example in the High Court decision of 2008, where the High Court ruled that the Ba'i Bitama Ajil facility by the bank was not Sharia compliant. So the contract was declared as null and void. So this decision causes worry and confusion among those involved in Islamic banking. So what are the controversy in this is that the ruling questioned the legitimacy of Ba'i Bitama Ajil contract, a common Islamic banking product. So it has raises doubts about the Sharia compliance of Islamic banking practices in Malaysia. So customers and banks were unsure about the status of the existing and also the future Ba'i Bitama Ajil contract. And the dilemma with this is that the banks face uncertainty about continuing the Ba'i Bitama Ajil products, and customers were also concerned about the validity of their financing agreements, and the Islamic banking industry's reputation and stability were at a risk. However, if we go through the appeal court decision in 2009, so the appeal court reversed the High Court decision, and it's confirmed that Ba'i Bitama Ajil contracts were Sharia compliant and valid. So this decision has restored the confidence in Islamic banking and practices. So what can we conclude from this is that Ba'i Bitama Ajil contract still faces several unresolved legal and practical issues despite much legal scrutiny. So the element of injustice in its implementation, especially in early settlement or default cases. So although the Superior Court has affirmed the validity of Ba'i Bitama Ajil contracts, binding all lower courts whether these contracts truly follow Islamic principles has not been fully discussed. So the courts, they only often discuss on the wording and form of the contract, not its real substance or operation. So the genuine nature of the sale transaction in the Ba'i Bitama Ajil contract is still questioned, and there is no clear or final answer on fairness, especially regarding the amount enforced in early settlement or default. Courts, especially Superior Court, should examine both operational aspect and the substance of BBA contracts more closely, and the focus should be on the real transaction, ensuring justice, not just legal language. So clear guidelines are needed to ensure fairness and proper operation in Islamic finance principle. So by doing so, the courts can provide more convincing and strengthening the credibility and acceptance of Ba'i Bitama Ajil contract. So that is it from me. Hope that is clear. Thank you very much. Bye bye.